reorgs, communication, change management. Okay, when you need to do stuff, what are the two most important tiers or sort of ideas to continue in your mind as you are doing significant reorgs? So the first is just tell them why you are doing things, right? That is the ultimate question that most people have when a new thing comes in, there's a new program, there's a reorg, there's stuff going on. They want to know why. And oftentimes it's amazing how many times that this does not happen in a management chain, which is they don't actually tell you why, or they tell you why in a very generic way, which is we're doing this to be more effective, or we're doing this to grow the business. That's not a real why, right? We are doing this because there have been a lot of communication gaps between these three teams, and we're pulling them together so that we can smooth the information flow with the goal of getting our, product pipeline from X days to Y days, right? Shrink it by 30%, get stuff out of the door faster. There's some reason why you are doing a reorg, and you want to communicate that as specifically as possible about the goal. Right? The goal of this reorg is to improve our product lifecycle, speed things to market, improve quality, lower costs. What is we trying to do? And the more you can communicate that, like, people may or may not agree with you, right? So I'm not saying that everybody will agree with you, because if you're trying to reduce costs, most people, especially if jobs are affected, are not going to be super happy about it. But they get it, right? And also, if they're reducing costs, why? Right? Because revenue is tanking, and we're not going to make any money. And you want to make sure that they understand the rationale, so that they can, agree or disagree. But agree or disagree means I understand, and I understand the position. I'm taking my position. The classic thing is I don't know why they're doing this. Right? I don't know why. Like, nobody knows, right? And then you get this kind of angst in the whole team because nobody knows what's going on. So the first rule is tell them why. The second rule is repeat, repeat, repeat. So consistency is king. And the idea of however many times you think you need to say it, it is more than that. And it's not 3 or 5 or 7. It is 10 or 20, or 30 or 50 or 100, right? Because what happens, and most of us, like in a small team, you tell somebody, they do it, great. Once you've hit these large scales, you're like, well, I told them this. And I guarantee you, just assume nobody heard it, right? Or assume you got 5% of the people, right? So if you have 150 people, and you got 5%, and each time you get a new 5%, that would be 20, right? Just to kind of cover everybody, right? And so you want to think through, when you have large scale teams and you're communicating something, just assume that 5% or less actually heard your message, actually understood it, and actually retained it. And so you need to think about repeating it so many times that number is never going to be 100, but you want it to be like 70 or 80% of the people. If you walked up to them and said, hey, why are we doing this reorg? Do you know? That they actually can repeat the thing that you were trying to say, right? And that's the other half of this is go check, right? I've been messaging this for weeks now, for months now. Go talk to some of your staff and say, so, just curious, why do you think we're doing this? What have you heard? And sometimes you'll get the right answer, which is, oh, great, it's communicating. Sometimes you'll be like, I don't know, I was just told to do this. Okay, well, then there's a hole in your communication. So consistency is key. It takes more time than you want. The bigger your scale, the longer it takes, the more repetitions it takes. And then you want to go out and test it and say, did I get the feedback?